Hello everyone, Mike here, and I got something interesting today. Now, a while back, I did a concert on Facebook, and while I was singing my parody song, All Because I Threw a Rose, I ended up unintentionally realizing that there was a parallel between one of the scenes in Sailor Moon and Christianity. So it started getting ideas going through my head. Marichan, I'm afraid I've been thinking. I know. See, I started wondering what other comparisons could I make between Sailor Moon and Christianity. Now, I am aware that there are not any intentional parallels between Christianity and Sailor Moon in the show, but upon watching the first episode again, I realized that there are quite a few that you can find unintentionally. So let's take a look at that first episode and do a little bit of a devotional dissecting. So we open with a self-introduction of our main character, Usagi Tsukino, along with a couple of quick scenes that really showcase her personality. She's lazy, always hungry, kind of a crybaby, and not the most intelligent. And proud of it. I also enjoy eating, sleeping, and taking the easy way out. But let's face it, Usagi does not fit the model of what you would imagine a hero to be. And that's what's so wonderful about it. Despite her flaws, Usagi grows and is able to do great things. That's Christianity in a nutshell right there. None of us are perfect. None of us are obvious heroes. And we don't have to be, because that's not what God is looking for in people. Good thing too, because if it was, nobody would qualify. But he takes the flawed, the broken, the weak and imperfect, and he leads us to do amazing things. A good biblical example from Judges 6. God chose Gideon to fight against the Midianites, but Gideon felt that his family was the smallest of all the tribes, and he was the weakest among them. But that didn't matter to God. He still used Gideon to do great things. Speaking of Usagi's flawed self, after getting a 30 on her most recent test, she goes with her friend Naru to check out a jewelry sale that Naru's mother is putting on. Though even with the discounts, Usagi can't afford any of them. After a little bit of arcade time, Usagi gets into a confrontation with Mamoru Chiba after she throws her crumpled test right at him. All right, hot potato, whoever this test touches, it's theirs now. Ha! Now we find our next parallel when Usagi returns home and is confronted by a talking cat. This, of course, is Luna. Now here's an interesting one, because Luna can come off as pushy and kind of judgmental. But let's face it, sometimes she has to give Usagi that metaphorical kick in the butt to get her going and doing what needs to be done. Now, Christians have that same reputation for being pushy and judgmental. But let's face it, we want everyone to go to heaven, and tomorrow is not guaranteed. We can come off pushy because we desperately want to reach people while we can. And even though there are a lot of people out there who say, well, I don't want your help. Doesn't matter. I mean, if somebody is about to commit suicide, they don't want your help, but you're still going to help them because it's the right thing to do. And because Christians care about people, we want to help them even if they don't want our help. So with Luna's prompting, Usagi transforms into Sailor Moon, and right off we have another parallel. The brooch that Usagi receives could be compared to the Bible, which allows us to transform our lives as well as helping us armor ourselves up to face the trials that the world has for us. Now, let's take a moment to look at our villains. Earlier in the episode, we're introduced to Queen Beryl and her underling Jadeite. In order to absorb energy from humans, which they will then use to strengthen their leader, Jadeite spends a lot of episodes using whatever people are into as methods of stealing energy. That reminds me of Satan, because he will use the things that are catching our eye to make us fall. He loves to find that one thing that a person is weak to and use it to get us. Very similar to our first little villainous sidekick. And that's exactly what he's doing in this case, by replacing Naru's mother with a monster, using that discounted jewelry to absorb energy from gem-loving women. Well, yeah, I mean, do you want some jewel sucking your energy out? Can we talk about this later? So just as the monster is about to kill Naru, Sailor Moon arrives, but she's not too excited about fighting, feeling understandably pretty scared. I mean, things are looking bad until help comes in the form of Tuxedo Mask. Now, Tuxedo Mask's style of helping is interesting. It pretty much consists of, whoa, that is a bad-looking monster. Better distract it. Don't cry, Sailor Moon. Believe in yourself, and you can do it. Well, my job's done. I'm out. Gotta head to Olive Garden and get some of those endless breadsticks. And this was the original parallel I found. When we face trials or temptations that the enemy throws at us, it can be very overwhelming. But when we receive encouragement from God's word through the Bible or the word of a Christian brother or sister, it can give us the strength we need to move forward. Another similarity is the common question of why Tuxedo Mask doesn't step into the fight instead of giving Sailor Moon just a kind word and then leaving. Similarly, people will ask why God doesn't walk us right through our problems and solve them for us. Well, I feel there are two explanations for this that come to mind. First is along the lines of when you're teaching your child to ride a bike. You know they're going to fall down, but you don't stop that from happening because they have to fall to learn to pick themselves up. God doesn't take pleasure in watching us fall, just like we don't take pleasure in watching our kids fall on a bike. But he wants us to grow stronger by giving us these trials that help us to grow. The other thing is about free will. Now, God is completely capable of walking us like dolls through our lives, forcing every decision we make, ensuring that we only do what he wants. But he doesn't want mindless puppets. He wants us to be able to make our own decisions, even if those decisions are wrong, and even if we have to pay for them afterwards. Of course, it's important to know that even if we make bad decisions that adversely affect us, he's still right there to pick us up and to comfort us if we let him. So, with Tuxedo Mask's supportive words, Sailor Moon defeats the monster, saves Naru, her mother, and the targeted women. The episode ends with Naru telling an exhausted Usagi about what happened. And there you have it. Several interesting little parallels between Christianity and the first episode of Sailor Moon. It's really kind of interesting what you can find when you take the time to look. I may look at some other episodes of the show, or maybe some other shows, and just see what other interesting parallels I can find. But that's all I've got on this one, so until next time.